Hey everybody, Joe Lowry, what a day. Happy Saturday out there, a somber Saturday at that. Just getting word now that one day after legendary wrestler George the Animal Steele passed away, we've just gotten word that this morning that Ivan Koloff, the Russian Bear, has indeed passed away. And it's been a tough week. If you're a pro wrestling historian or an old school fan like myself, it's been a tough week. Just last Saturday, we lost Chavo Guerrero Sr. at the age of 68. Just yesterday, George the Animal Steele at age 79. And this morning, the Russian Bear, Ivan Koloff, at age 74. I did not know these men personally. I did, however, get to have a brief conversation with George the Animal Steele. When he launched his website back in 05-06, I actually emailed him, and he was quick to respond. He actually called me, real name a.k.a. Jim Myers, and he called me. We had a brief conversation, and I actually thanked him for being a performer that he was at the time, because he did make me the fan I am today. I did see George the Animal Steele first wrestle in person back in July of 1981. He took on Bob Backlund at the old Boston Garden, and I'll tell you, this guy was one of a kind, because when he entered the arena, not only the arena, but when he entered, not the ringside area, but when he actually entered the arena, the place went crazy. As a kid, I was 12, 13 years old at the time. I thought this guy could generally, be destructive and actually come into the stands. And I was, obviously up in the balcony. I was fearful for my life. And I'm like, this guy could snap at any moment. But he played the character to a T. In and out of the ring, a genuine man, a great performer. I did get the chance to see Ivan Koloff wrestle in person. Now, don't get me wrong, but he did have brief runs in the WWF at the time. Obviously back in January of 1971, defeating Bruno Sammartino in front of 22,000 fans at the old Madison Square Garden to become the WWF Heavyweight Championship. He held that title for a few months before losing it to Pedro Morales. That was a shocking victory for the fans. But I wouldn't see him wrestle again until 1983 when he had a brief run with Pat Patterson. I posted that video earlier today. And I got to see Ivan and Koloff take on Pat Patterson at the old Boston Garden. They were on the undercard of the Superfly Snooker Don Morocco match. And back then, they had a cage match, and that's when they were doing their run. And the cage was always set off to the side in the corner of the ringside area. So Koloff and Patterson were doing their thing, and Patterson got Koloff to run around the ring a couple of times. And on the second or third time that Koloff ran around the ring, he tripped and fell on the cage. And he actually cut his head open doing that. And which was kind of ironic, because usually the blood or the proverbial crimson mask that Ivan Koloff wore would happen inside the ring, but this happened by accident outside the ring. So the thing I remember about that match was I do believe Pat Patterson got the upper hand, but Koloff put on a heck of a show wearing that crimson mask, and he turned that white mat at the old Garden. It was a whitish, bluish type mat, and you could just see the blood everywhere. And Ivan was a genuine performer. Most of his matches, his career was spent in the NWA. Highly touted NWA Mid-Atlantic champion. I saw him on Georgia Championship Wrestling a lot of times. And obviously with Chavo Guerrero Sr., I was introduced to him by Bill Apter in his old wrestling magazines, Inside Wrestling, The Wrestler, and all that. I got to see Chavo Guerrero Sr.'s pictures. I never saw him wrestle in person, but he did have a brief run in World Class Championship Wrestling when cable TV boomed in my area. I got to see him that way and so forth. But George the Animal Steele and Ivan Koloff, two WWF mainstays, true characters, great performers. They'll be sorely missed. It's been a heartbreaking week here for all the old school wrestlers and so forth. And, we can go back just a couple of weeks with the passing of Jimmy Superfly Snooker. Last year it was Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream, and Roddy Piper. But we had some time to recover from that. But this is just three too many in 1 week. So rest in peace, Chavo Guerrero Sr., rest in peace, George Steele, and rest in peace, Ivan Koloff. I'm Joe Lowry. What a day.